I can say it's been a few years since I've watched many. This is one I've seen mention of once or twice, but not. I think that's what my phone said.
Must have missed it.
You need to change the title though. I don't care what you change it to, but I assume Volume 1 isn't going to work very well.
3 Nubs yap about anime. No, but it's funny.
And it sounds a lot better in otaku because otaku has a few different connotations. You could say otaku, but otaku has a whole different connotation.
Yeah, but you can always say 3 tacos talking about anime.
Hey, I like that one, actually. It's kind of amusing.
Might confuse people. It'd be like, they misspelled otaku. And you're like, no, 3 tacos.
That's it. And I just had a rather amusing idea of all 3 of us loading up face rig with a taco on it. I don't know. It's just what showed up on my phone.
I don't even see that stuff. I'm not on your page.
Well, then you won't see it.
Oh, that's fine. I don't have to see it.
I hate Brenda, and a bad guy hit me in the shin, and I peed all in my pants.
I hear a really weird noise. Damn.
Man, there is weird stuff online.
You don't say.
Yeah. Beer.
And I'm Ice Risk.
That cat guy. That cat guy works. No, the other you that's not on the screen. Yeah, but Sugar's not on screen, and you know Sugar will make an appearance at some point. I fed them before I went to get coffee before I picked you up from work. Oh. It's just silly and goofy.
Yeah. It is certainly, more of a romance than I was expecting. I was actually expecting more, slice of life, to be perfectly honest.
I don't think it's classified as that, is it?
It's the feel it came across. It's, or comedic romance or, what's the word? It's been a while.
I guess it does kind of come off as that. The romance between the hero and the demon lord.
Or it definitely, soon, dairy.
Oh. Dairy.
Nope. Definitely soon, dairy. It's, for me, it was similar to others I've seen. I was reminded quite a bit about Aesthetic of a Rogue Hero. and Demon King Daimo.
Yeah.
They're different anime.
Yeah, Demon King Daimo is the same general concept, isn't it? Just with more fan service.
Yes. Aesthetic for Rogue Hero is actually I kind of like the story in it. No, I don't want to update Windows. But it's definitely Aesthetic of Rogue Hero is definitely a curious take. And while I'm thinking about it,
which one was that?
It's
yeah, I know, but I can't catch the full name. He's rattling it off too fast.
Aesthetic of a Rogue Hero.
Aesthetic.
I don't know the Japanese name, but it's there's definitely a lot more fan servicey things, so I wouldn't necessarily say there's more fan service in it.
Oh, okay, I know which one you're talking about.
Also,
you know, I never knew how to pronounce that properly.
Aesthetic?
I always knew it as Rogue Hero.
Yeah. It's Aesthetic of a Rogue Hero.
Yeah. That one is got a lot of fan service in it too, though.
It does have a lot of fan service in it, but it's not, unlike Demon King, it's not as overt, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's not ecchi. It's just got a lot of fan service.
Before I lose track of it, I do have to say, what was it, Chiho? Or Chi as the nickname is?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, here's the thing. Like Dragon Ball Z, you have Goku's wife, Chi-Chi. You would not name a kid that for a reason. Same reason you wouldn't name your kid Stud. Chi-Chi is a Japanese slang term for boobs. So Chi being her nickname is very... Chi itself means big. So, yeah.
I hear sugar.
Props for actually being, Which I will admit is a little common in a lot of anime.
Yeah, even in the tame ones, you got to have that fan service in there.
I said there's a couple that don't, but it's not. It's more common than not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. What, you don't think she had just like a towel wrapped around in the bathtub?
That's not a nonsense. It's an invisible towel. Exactly. In reverse. You only can't see the cloak.
The Emperor's New Clothes.
Exactly.
And sorry to drop a word on you earlier, Rose. Tsundere is where the term tsundere comes from. I don't know if you've heard that one or not. Basically, it means like a cold love. It's a couple definitions. Basically, it amounts to somebody that likes somebody but is very cold to them, or very cold and warms up, which Emilia definitely fits. But, which is one meaning, but also a case of them not being effective at showing that they love. But you can tell that there's obviously a thing there, or is meant to be a thing there. That's what I mean, is it's very, harsh, abrupt. I'm trying to think of a good example in other media you may have seen.
Dairy is such a
Dairy itself is a rather interesting thing. Yeah, it just means lovey.
Yeah, but there's so many different forms of dairy, so it's kind of one of those.
Well, yandere is easy to describe.
Yeah, most of those tropes can fit into dairy or milk culture.
So, yandere is very easy to describe.
Run.
No, that's what you do. It doesn't matter if you're the target or not, you run. I'm trying to think of a good example in other media.
Female serial killer. Be good.
Well, it's, more than yandere, but yeah.
Everybody dies.
Yeah, yandere is basically means sick or ill, and in this case, mentally ill. It's like a mentally ill love.
Yeah.
Very much so. Has in, a case of if you go near my, near the one I want, then I'm going to kill you. And that one is yandere. Yandere and dere, D-E-R-E, is just lovey. Yandere is sick. There's not really yandere that we've seen in the show, though. If Chiho turns into a yandere, that'd be rather interesting. Yes. Yeah. But no, Emilia is a good example of a tsundere. Is the cult love. Yandere, if Chiho becomes kind of yandere, it'd be interesting for the series.
Yeah,
certainly be unexpected.
Noble did a video on it, if I remember right. See if I can find it.
But Noble, oh Lord. Sometimes.
Oh, I can't remember how to spell
but D-E-R-E. But the show David Tennant was in, not Doctor Who, but Jessica Jones.
No, that wasn't it.
Yeah, yandere is not a calm topic, but it's definitely a case of if you go near the one I want, I will hurt and kill you. And if I can't have, who I want, nobody else can either. Oh no, it's actually not healthy, but
a good one for that one.
Which one?
Future Phone Diary, or the one where the kid reads the future on his phone, and I can't remember the name of it.
Can't see it, but I was trying to think of something she'd seen.
She hasn't seen a whole lot.
Well, but you've seen other things like movies, shows. That's what I was trying to. Yeah. Yeah. The Japanese term is yandere.
What is that old movie?
There's a few of them.
It's the one with the famous scene where the lady uncrosses her legs and then crosses her legs.
Oh, what?
No, that wasn't.
No, it was.
No.
She was an interrogate, and she didn't. If it's the one I'm thinking of, she didn't know what she had done, or how much the camera had seen until afterwards. And apparently, she slapped the director.
With Demi Moore or whatever her name was.
Yeah, that sounds right. I remember it from a Matt Pat vid.
Fatal Attraction?
I couldn't tell you. It's not one I've seen. But yeah, if you go for the ship, Ruby and Weiss, some people claim that's a tsundere.
Don't watch
But
it
that-
enough
it-
to really know.
Yeah, but that's yeah, but that's yeah, but that's one I know you've seen, and it gives you an idea of what the tsundere is.
Oh, nope, it was Basic Instinct. Ah, that's fine. It's kind of an old movie anyway.
Well, I
everybody's
mean,
a
you're in
terrible,
good
horrible
company.
person. Even Sugar.
I grew up on them. I liked When No Return was a good one. What?
Men at Work. It's such a goofy movie.
All right.
You haven't seen that work?
Nope.
You're gonna send him a clip for the golf clap. It's on YouTube.
Oh, I've seen a number of golf claps.
Been too long since I've seen it. I just remember the toxic waste scene. So
I will admit, though, back to the show, I did like some of the name drops. Though the devil not being Morningstar did kind of surprise me.
I probably missed more of those than I'd care to admit.
I thought
Yeah.
as far as money.
Yeah, ASCII does a pretty good
Especially if you
job.
watch the originals, yeah. It in terms of art, the production was pretty good, and from what we've seen so far, I think.
Yeah.
A couple scenes where it was like,
But I drop a lot of words out of my pocket.
I just look at them and so easily. I will remember that.
Until I have to remind you about it 10 minutes later. Which is fine. I'm used to it by now.
And also, I called Me Kitty knowing about the other world. Me Kitty, the landlady.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw her from the very beginning knowing about it. It's one thing you'll notice when you see a lot of anime, in general, a lot of shows, there just happen to be thousands of anime produced every year, that they follow a lot of the same tropes. It happens a lot in other medium too. It's just there's just so much anime that it's more pronounced.
Well, that's why it's here. And I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will admit, a lot of the show did seem very tropic.
Well, that was kind of the point of the show. It was making fun of the entire genre.
Yeah. It's fair.
I did like that here. And that she was the hero. She was gonna, destroy the duck. Get rid of the evil, and then they go. Yeah.
I said history is written by the victor.
Oh, that's fine. Mer's trying to knock over my mic.
Our cats.
Come on. There we go.
Well, everybody's seen Murr if they watch the video feed.
Yeah. Perfect. Someone on here.
Also, McRonald.
McRonald's.
Is that what it is in the dub? Well,
yeah, it's McDonald's in the sub. And the dub, if I remember right.
I said I didn't watch the dub. Crunchyroll has the sub on it. I generally do because while there are a lot of anime that the dub is much better, or at least on par, it's easier for me to catch a lot of the references in a sub. Just a lot of the terms don't have a good translation. Sundari is actually one of them. There's not a real good translation for it. Also, a lot of the honorifics don't have a... I said, in America, we have Mr., Mrs., and Miss.
Ooh, a kettle of fish there.
Yeah. And, well, there's also like Madam and a couple others, but in Japan, there's an honorific for every tier and how formal you're being. You know, so, and for instance, for just thank you. I said most people in America know domo arigato, mostly from the song. But it's arigato, domo arigato gozaimasu. Is the most formal.
Too.
Pardon?
So there's a few others in there too, but
there's a few others, but most of the others are
Rename.
like just arigato is very slang, very informal. It's one you would use with your best friends. But yeah, it's just but a lot of those would be translated just as thanks, or thank you very much, depending on the translation and the dubbing.
Yep.
Usually subs are, yeah. Well, like, yeah, and it gives a different idea of what it is. Like I said, they all mean thanks, but it's more along the lines of thanks, thank you very much. Actually, if I remember correctly, the literal meaning is actually different. But
the literal translation is different, yeah. Princess versus Butlers. If you watch the dub, they say thanks a lot. But if you watch the sub, you'll notice that there's a lot of different terminology that they use for thank you.
And a lot of it has to do with relative station. That, you know, in a way that you talk differently to your coworker than you do your boss and his boss. It's a similar idea. I said in Japan they use a lot of last name. You know, meaning your friends would call you by your first name, maybe, and there's usually still going to be an honorific on that. You know, san, sama. I used to know about 20 more. Whether upperclassmen, underclassmen, and it just all kind of, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's culture with Rose. Yeah.
That's
San and Sama are going to be the two main you hear. Sama is a higher version of it, or more formal. You might also hear Chan, which is a less formal.
you got to be careful with Chan now.
Yeah, you would not call your boss Chan. Not if you wanted to have a job. Anywhere. No, it's not you want to have a job. You would not have job. It would be hard pressed for you to find another job.
Yeah. Insulting your boss in a very excessive way.
You know, it's kind of like, you know, yeah, why not? I'll say it this way. You know, when you're on the football field, you know, the different players slap each other's asses. You wouldn't walk up to the president of the school and just walk up and slap their ass. It kind of has a different meaning there. It doesn't look good. But Oni-chan or Oni-chan, those are actually two different ones. Because, reasons. Well, one is brother, one is sister, if I'm remembering correctly, and it's been a few years since I've done anything with this.
Which ones again?
Oni and Oni.
Yeah.
Oni-chan.
Oni and Oni-chan. Oni is brother, Oni-chan is sister, generally younger. But it's pretty much only used in anime, so.
To be fair, yeah. And it's also a matter of, in public or not, but that's going even further out there. There's a lot of structure and formality in Japanese.
Yeah. Japan and Asia in general are very class-based societies. You're either on the ladder or you're not.
No, America definitely isn't. In fact, there's actually 3 written languages and 2 spoken ones, not counting dialects.
4 if you count the book.
Yeah, the romanticized. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call it romanticized, more like bastardized, but.
Oh, but romanticized is the proper term. It's using the Roman letters.
Oh no, their written book kanji.
Ah. Oh.
It's a blend between high kanji and low kanji. It's real easy to write. That's why the phones and books are written in it.
Hiragana, katakana, kanji, and romanticized. And then there's also like 2 spoken languages, and gender actually does play into that.
Oh, heavily. Pretty much.
It's not proper.
Yeah.
And especially the written languages. There's some with hiragana and katakana in terms of gender, but a lot of it's also they'll use katakana for foreign words. Trying to think of a good example of it. It's not coming to me. Yeah. The Japanese have a very definite culture.
Yeah, that was kind of the reason why I was steering her toward dubs to start with and not subs.
Yeah. There's certainly a benefit to dubs if it's a decent dub. There are some anime I prefer the dubbing. Rurouni Kenshin for once. Though they did take out Oro.
Yeah, I finally got around to reading that manga. I think 3 or 4 years ago. I watched the anime, and that's how I thought the manga went for years.
Oh, no.
No. My friends always made fun of me for it. They're like, oh, you got to read the manga. And I'm like, I'm dyslexic. I can't read. What's wrong with you?
I admit, I do wish that they put the Oro in the dub. But I do think the dub is better in the sub in Rurouni Kenshin.
Well, that was
there's a lot of ways they Americanized Sailor Moon.
Well, no, Funimation's trying to get rights back to Sailor Moon so they can redub it.
Well,
I was just reading that they were trying to get a hold of it.
So I imagine Americans would still have a number of issues with it.
Well, yeah.
Well, though to be fair, 20 years ago, homosexuality was not exactly highly praised in this country, but, what can you do?
Man, I was alive 20 years ago. I more or less remember how that shit went. It wasn't as bad as people think.
Oh, apparently you're in a different area than I was.
In that chair. They super glued her to the chair. Just don't look below it for the plumbing.
Why do you think she has so many cats?
To get her a beer?
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
it's a different culture. It's Asian, you know. Well, then it's a cartoon.
So
Yes, anime is technically a cartoon.
anime is hard to pigeonhole like that, unfortunately. It You could call it an adult cartoon, but that has a whole different connotation to it. You could call it just a cartoon, and that has a different connotation to it. Neither one of which is fully right.
Well,
Anime
at
is
the
its
end of
own
the day,
medium.
it is a cartoon.
It is animated.
Yeah, it's an animated featurette of some type.
Yeah.
It's a cartoon.
Well, by definition, so is Higurashi no Cry, or Avatar: The Last Airbender. By that definition, anyway. Higurashi no Cry.
Yeah, never a big fan of Airbender.
Hmm.
A little too slow for my tastes.
That's fair. That one's fair. Not even counting the movie that they tried to make.
Oh God.
Honestly, that movie ended about 2 hours too late. That movie, because that movie was okay. I separate the different mediums. I separate mediums. The book is the book, the movie is the movie. That movie, in and of itself, was bad. Not even counting the source material. Kind of like the Dragon Ball Evolution movie. The movie, in and of itself.
No, there wasn't.
No.
There was no such thing. It was never made. We shall never speak of it again.
They just called it that. The movie itself, in and of itself, was bad. Not even counting any other material. Okay, I'm a loud cat. That is a loud cat.
Well, the cat is right in front of the mic.
But honestly, the Death Note movie, if you separate it from the source material, I actually like the movie itself. If you separate it from the material.
If you look at it as an American movie based for an American audience, yes, it was a pretty good movie. If you're going off the core material, man, is that a wild?
Oh no,
junk.
And to be fair, Death Note is actually one of those that the manga and the anime don't follow the same story.
No, they don't.
Up to a certain point, they do, but then they diverge, which I actually like. Yeah. And honestly, a lot of anime, especially if they get made early on in the cycle, they catch up to the manga. Because a manga is essentially a comic book. I don't like using that term, but it is what it is. Yeah. But in an anime episode, usually about 20 minutes, because of timing, and it's part of the problem with like the Dragon Ball Z translation into America, is you can fit so much more in a single episode than you can in a volume or a chapter of a manga. And so the anime tends to catch up. And then what do you do? So do you do filler? Do you put it on hold? Or do you just make more and then make more manga?
To use a different anime, Naruto was real good at that. They took a season off to let the manga get ahead.
I don't know if I call it real good.
Not really, but it's a good example of what you're talking about.
It's a good example.
They had a choice. They could stop it, which they did one season. Then they brought it back, and then they just started doing filler.
Bleach did that for a while too.
Yeah, Bleach just kind of went off on its own tangent, though.
It was some of the fillers, yeah. So granted, I stopped watching a while ago when it was coming out.
Oh God, I quit watching that too. I'm trying to think.
One thing you'll know, it also makes a difference on who does the subbing, Rose. Because a number of groups will typically sub an anime, and each one subs it differently, and each one translates it differently. So honestly, I tend to find fan subbing a lot better than the official subbing, but what can you do?
That's
There are a few sites I personally use, but yeah.
you pretty much just use one anymore.
I've got a couple I use. Anime Season and Crunchyroll.
I used to use Crunchyroll all the time, but with all the crap that's going on at Crunchyroll, I kind of quit using them.
It kind of depends on what I'm looking for, too.
Well, when they named their website, they were making fun of sushi.
I like good sushi.
I always just thought it looked kind of fishy.
Yeah, most of it does. So in terms of surprise, portrayed a devil in a positive light, which is not necessarily uncommon, but it's not that common. Though when it is shown that way, it is usually shown as like that twist you were talking about. Let's see. Looking over my notes, somewhat surprised to see. Pardon? Oh, I thought you had said something. They did name all four. One was Alciol, which we've seen in the other, and Lucifer, which here's the problem you're having. While they may reference other material, like the name Dullahan and Alciol are actually, in the, are listed demons. Just because they reference that information doesn't mean that it will always apply in that way. Also, Rip Olba. Rip Olba. He was the priest that was coming over with Amelia. I don't think so. I don't think he died.
No,
I don't think he
none
died.
of the four generals on either side died.
I will admit, I wasn't quite expecting Morningstar to come say hello, though it definitely fits. Morningstar is the name listed in the Bible for Lucifer.
Yeah, just a.
So also, minor tangent. The show. Oh Lord, what is it called? No, bad name. But yeah, but it was certainly reminded me of it. Main character's name is Lucifer Morningstar, and he is basically Satan come to LA. I can't remember the name of it, and I can't reach it with this. Yeah, actually, I think that is the name of it. Huh. But yeah, that's why I remember it. I actually like the first season.
Oh, I never saw it, but I did play. No, definitely all throughout Supernatural. Everything else is for it.
In terms of surprises, though, I was actually somewhat surprised with the Devil Mal, Devil, yeah. Well, is it what means?
Mao.
Mal. I think it's a name for a devil, a type of devil, if I remember
Mao is
correctly.
a generic term for demon.
Yeah. I was actually somewhat surprised he was fairly buff.
It's like saying Arnold Schwarzenegger is kind of buff.
I mean, no, when he was in devil mode, when he became the devil, chapter 3 or episode 3.
Well, you see him at the beginning of episode 1 too.
Well, yeah, but you don't ever get a look at him. You see him being big, but not necessarily. Hey, it could be worse. It could be a different kind of anime.
Someone threw the devil in the dryer on high heat.
Something like that, yeah. Well, that's also a different anime. Granted, to be fair, you can say that about anything. To be fair, they literally make 1,000 a year.
Oh, the Neko, the Nekos
Oh,
are
Neko.
a huge thing.
Nekomata.
Neko.
Among with another few other Neko terms. Neko literally means cat.
Yeah. Speaking of,
And there are a number of different cat things in anime.
yes, you could.
But, the other thing that really surprised me was they didn't seem to attack or defend the East Island. Yeah, when they made their plan to attack Esta Isla. Satan did, but not the heroes. The heroes came from the north, the west, and the south.
The problem was the anime starts at the end of that war.
Well, yeah.
So, you're only seeing a small part.
Yeah. And you also see anime tends to not necessarily start the same place the manga starts, or the short novella, or whichever source it has.
Yeah. For Devil Part-Timer, I have not read the manga. I don't read a whole lot of manga because my dyslexia makes it very difficult for me to read. That's why I was so psyched when I got that Kindle and I could use it. $100 and you can have it, and I'll just go buy another one.
You said you watched the dub. What was the outro like? You know, where the credits are rolling, did it have anything, or did you just skip that?
I usually just skip it. I don't remember.
I don't know. Is it? Oh, yeah. Okay, the first episode, it was a little different. The ones after that did have the, swimsuit.
Oh, that's the wrong website.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was what I'm like. Okay, I'm gonna look at the ending of The Devil's a Part-Timer real quick. That's not the right ending.
The first one was, like I said, the first one, at least on the sub I saw, it had a filtered recap of the episode, which some anime do. And I realized after that, I wrote my notes as they occurred to me. And the other ones did have just the swimsuit, and then the silent post or preview afterwards.
Yeah.
Which each anime does it different.
Pretty much.
Sometimes they have interesting things.
I used to be real big into that.
There are some anime where either every episode, certain episodes, or the final episode, there is a post-credit scene. Marvel was not the first one to do it.
Yeah. I was going to say anime.
They're just known for it, but they weren't the first one to do it. One of these days they won't do it. One of these days they won't do it, and they'll really confuse everybody. That was the whole plan. Also, what happened with her hair? Amelia's. It went from silver, and then it went to pink.
Plot armor.
Also, the title of that episode. Really? The hero stays at the Devil's Castle for work reasons. It didn't show it, but I definitely saw the quotes there. Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair, they were relying on her too. Basically saying she was the guardian to the police. They basically said that she was their guardian. That's basically what they said.
Yeah, that was. They were both underage, and she was.
Technically, so she.
Technically, the paperwork says she's in her 20s.
Oh, there's lots of things and lots of shoes you can forge.
I am out of
But no, I definitely saw the quotes in that title.
Yeah.
And I'm fairly certain, I don't know what the Japanese title of that episode was, but I'm fairly certain with the English ones, they knew exactly what they were saying. Well,
all of them lost theirs.
What?
They all lost them.
they still have it. And here's the thing. We saw Mao recover his. Yes, but a lot more than he had before then. Which makes you wonder, why is he getting it? And the main thing to know about that is, are the mechanics of magic in this world?
I got to stay out of this one because I've actually seen all of it. So
Yeah.
I know the answers.
But it seems like General Lucifer has been able to maintain his magic with more proficiency.
that's also assuming it was him that did it. But I said it may not have been him doing it. I think it was, honestly, but it may not have been. Here's a thing in games and shows. Until I see a body, they're not dead. In most cases. But we also see. But we also don't know how magic works, if he's getting it from something else, if it's powered by something else. There's one show where magic is basically nothing more than computational formulas. And their magic is based off of that, which has different rules than something else.
No.
And I think you even muted or having issues. Because I see your mouth moving, but nothing happening. But that's how their magic was set up in that anime. There's others where it's, based on, the power of friendship, which has been troped to death.
My Little Pony.
That's why they're not tropes.
Yeah. Tropes in and of themselves aren't bad. It's just...
It's like he got his magic set.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't necessarily see it being the general. I do see it being one of the other two. Why?
Mostly because she drives me nuts.
Jealous? Case in point, in the show Lucifer, it's kind of an inverse way. His magic power is weakened when he's near somebody.
Are you cares about?
Actually, yes, but
That's that Netflix
It's-
show you're talking about, right?
yeah,
What was TV first? It was spin off of
it was on Fox TV.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay, no,
it's
but
not spun off. It's its own thing, but I actually do really enjoy it. Need to rewatch it and catch up, but no, it's a Fox show.
No, I couldn't remember what channel it was on. I'm like, I've seen commercials for it, but I've never actually watched it. It looked
I
interesting.
watched it at work. No, I won't. Actually, need to catch up on Ruby. But magic or supernatural effects is different in each universe.
right.
In Bleach, for instance, when I talked about earlier, it's the power of the soul. In Naruto, it's different incantations. I can go on and on. I do think it's actually either being near or protecting either Chi-Chi or Amelia.
I was trying to think back when I first watched it when it came out, how my thought process went.
Yeah. Well, with hers, for one, it's under a different type of power. Because we did see the feather in the bath, which I thought was rather curious. And the bathtub? Also,
No,
Chekhov's gun.
That I do remember. I remember that scene because I'm like, oh my God, she's a... And I was right, so...
There's
Yeah,
a lot of
one
things
those
to add
things.
after that phrase.
I could neither confirm
No, I
nor
guess
deny.
actually Nephilim is the right word. Oh. The word that gets thrown around a lot of different scenarios, but that actually would be a proper time for it.
Well, actually, no. I can go into it because episode 4 goes over it. Yeah, she's Nephilim.
The Sword of MacGuffiness.
Wield a angelic sword.
Which we also don't know that something in a lot of shows, and some do it well, some don't, where the protagonist is not always a good guy, and the good guys aren't necessarily the good guys.
If it does, it goes into it in the manga.
I said, in a lot of ways, I can see that definitely being a case of it depends on Mao. Yeah, that seemed to work real well.
Not me, I'm a troll.
Um,
Doing dramatic.
um, oh, what is it? Kazuma no Stigma? The Stigma of the Wind. I'm pretty much reminded, just now reminded of another character from Kazuma no Stigma.
Oh, it reminds me, I was traumatized by a Stigma anime. Oh,
There's a couple different ones.
Stigma no Quasar. Oh,
Oh,
man. What a
no.
horrible. Ugh.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. No, this is a different one.
I know, you said that, and that was the first thing that popped into my head, and I'm like, no! What a
No,
horrible
not Second the
show.
Quasar. Or the sequel. Or the other sequel.
Yeah,
It's not one I think you'd want to watch, Rose.
Nope, I don't want to watch it.
Some people do. But
Obviously, it made 2 movies.
well, have you ever seen Game of Thrones? Yes. Have you ever seen the little kid in the Erie? The little baby prince? Not the one in the Capitol, the one where the small man was gonna fly. Yeah. You wouldn't want to watch Second the Quasar then. Yeah. But no, Cosmo no Stigma has basically one of the characters is rather upset at one of the former family members, and basically does everything in her power to absolutely, try to hit him. It doesn't work, but she tries real hard. And anything in her way is going to become just as flat. Except him. But yeah, that's what your description of that reminded me of. And yeah, Amelia is kind of, little, which, I mean, redhead, but. I don't know. You think of. So, who are you? Well, actually, no, I think I know what this answer is. But, in the love triangle, who are you rooting for?
Who's your waifu? It's the waifu challenge.
Listen, no, it.
I see her little.
I said, for a minute, I actually was thinking she was the one that attacked him. Which I guess, if we're going back to her being a yandere,
This isn't school days, guys. Oh.
Nope, just this. Yeah, I'd say after those two, I think I definitely prefer Emmy. Part of me wants to say LCO, but I can't trust him. At the moment, I don't really trust him. I don't necessarily trust McKitty either, but I kind of like her, but I want to pair her with Mel. Fairly certain I want to ship those. Me, Kitty. The crazy cat lady. Who knows too much?
Way to do too much.
Why not?
Have
How
you
old
not
is she?
seen Anime Logic yet?
Not even going to the Rule 34. Don't even.
Yeah, you were right. I thought it was 66. Anyway,
There is a Rule 66, but that's not it.
I don't know all the
Not far off.
Oh, and
Most of the
Rule
internet
66 was
rules
still
are
all
kind of
the,
along the same lines.
Kill all the Jedi. Yeah.
That worked real well.
Pretty much.
To be fair, it actually did. Best fighters in the universe, my ass.
Trying to think here. Well, where do you think it's going? Would probably be the only question I really have. Yeah, interesting.
Based on previous knowledge and experience and tropes, I'm more likely to say he's much more likely to just join the household. No, at first he's going to try to, beat them both because, well, he is what he is. But based on experience, I'd say he's probably going to join the house.
Punch him in the face. They'll be your friend.
Yeah, it only works so far. Yeah, well, here's the thing. At the moment, it seems like, Mr. Morningstar has a bit more, power to him at his beck and call. It's also possible he just got there. It's also going with the, divine energies. The soul is the source of that in many, realms.
Sugar is very
Fight back.
carbonated.
Fight back. But yeah, I can definitely see this devil just, all he wants is a safe place for his people. They actually explicitly state that at the beginning. They didn't say, well, at least in the sub, it didn't say demons.
It said creatures of the night.
Creatures of the night. Which, because by definition, that I would be included in that. Or at least one definition. So yeah,
No,
I see him as
reminded me
being
of
more a
everything.
protector, and he also definitely believes in long term over the short term.
Yeah, he comes across as someone that's just kind of he wants to be a good ruler, but he doesn't have enough real world knowledge. Pretty much.
Um, I don't know. He seems to be overly compassionate, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's unworldly. It seems to me it's more a problem of he's too compassionate, at least at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to stick within the first four
Yeah.
episodes and what I remember from when I first watched it, and that
No, that's not a problem for me.
in case you're talking about this came out in 2002, so it's kind of been a few years since I've seen it originally. Oh, of course I rewatched it. I had to rewatch it so I could, or so I knew where to stop. So I'm not like, here, let me give you a spoiler. Oh, you haven't gotten there yet. Cheap.
I'm
And
not gonna.
here, I'll give you a spoiler. The show ends after 12 episodes. Is it 13? I thought it was 12. Entirely possible.
Oh, there we go.
Nope, you're right. 13. Action, comedy, fantasy. Oh, did someone come in?
It's
Nope.
a,
Alrighty. Dancing cat.